In Florida Mayhem's match against the Paris Eternal, it's pretty easy to say that these matches don't really matter for Florida, as they're in the process of recreating their roster. However, it's still really tough to watch this team, not because they're bad, but because the Overwatch they play can be so strong sometimes, but it's let down by some comically terrible mistakes. Regardless, Florida did put up a pretty good performance in the final two maps in this series. Nepal was a display of some quite shaky Overwatch from the Florida Mayhem. On the first map of Nepal, it was a mirror match, Zen Goats. It was surprising to see no Sombra being played by Florida, as that was an identity they were seeming to create for themselves. Sombra is also becoming more and more important in this meta. BQB was really struggling on Zarya on Nepal though, being constantly outdamaged by the enemy Zarya, and it was an easy 100-0 stage for the Paris Eternal. The second map of Nepal was not a complete steamroll. It was quite close to the steamroll, however. The Mayhem started on a triple DPS composition against the Eternal's May composition. A long, drawn-out fight which resulted in a teamfight loss for Florida caused them to switch off to the basic 3-3 composition, and it was an easy map for Paris. On Horizon, this map was a Goats mirror all the way through, with some Ana Goats being played. On Paris' attack, it was an absolute slaughter. There was no defense to slow down the attack, and Paris snowballed with over 5 minutes in the clock. However, not to be outdone, the Mayhem completed their attack with an even better time bank. Both teams seemed to want to get steamrolled by the opposing team. Both Paris and Florida managed to finish their attack rounds on this map again, making it 4-4 in the time bank rounds. However, the Mayhem finished their attack in overtime. Florida had the larger time bank going to this map, however BQB again choked on Zarya. He had a crucial grab eaten, and his other ults were not really able to be capitalized on. Although Florida managed to keep this map a lot closer than the first, Paris was able to take this map. On Numbani, Florida put together an incredible defense. There's no memeing of this team on this map. This was genuinely great play from Florida. However, it was helped by Paris, who was incredibly stubborn on their attack, playing with 1 support and 4 DPS for the entire attack. Florida was easily able to exploit the lack of healing on the other side and put together some very clean dives. However, on attack, Byram played Tracer and BQB was on Sombra. Byram opened with a pick on one of the Paris supports and then dove on the rest of the already cowering Paris team on the back corridor of the point. BQB cleaned up on point besides Byram, and this was an extremely dominant map for Florida, surprisingly so. Florida Mayhem and losing in Vanna is kind of an iconic duo by this point. However, they looked great on their attack. BQB was again relieved of his Zarya duties and was able to play his great Sombra. Zephyr was also able to play Zarya, a hero he seems much more comfortable on than D.Va. Hagapum was substituted back in for this map and promptly began to massacre on Ana. Florida pushed quite confidently through first and second points on Havana with some resistance just before completing that second point. They were halted before third due to Paris' superior ult economy. Florida again played their notorious May Bastion comp on defense, however this time, Zephyr was on Bastion and Hagapum was on May. It may have worked well against Seoul, but it was well thwarted by Paris. Florida put together more convincing defenses just before and after the capture of the second point. When Florida can cycle between EMP and Graviton Surge, they become a very dangerous team. Florida spawn camped Paris for a minute or so because of this, but being spawn camped by Florida must be somewhat demoralizing for Paris. Well, it didn't really get to them though, and they pushed it convincingly to the end. In both of these matches though, it looked like Florida took their foot off the gas in the final fight and just passively retreated towards their spawn.
If you want more great Overwatch League content, make sure to give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and that bell icon. Now, from our house to yours, thanks for watching.